Super exciting announcement. This is really only an exciting announcement for me. Maybe some of you will be excited, but I'm probably the most excited. These headbands. You have seen them in many a video before, and now they're finally available. If you were not able to tell from the Skinpedia video, I am launching a brand, and the brand is called Remedy. Some of you guessed it, and Remedy, we'll talk a little bit about what that brand means later on, so look out for that. The skincare products are not launching yet, but the headbands are now available for sale. Why do I wear a headband in all my videos?
It is to protect his hair from his face, essentially.
No, when I wash my face, what ends up happening when I'm doing my skincare routine is that my hair will get wet. And then when my hair gets wet, my gel and hair products drip onto my face. That can cause acne. We know that. It's called pomade acne or acne mechanica. And so I wear the headband so that I don't get my hair wet. On the flip side, I've started to apply minoxidil to the corners of my hairline. And when I apply minoxidil to the corner of my hairline, I don't want that to drip down onto my forehead. So I apply the minoxidil from above, I wash my face from below, and it becomes a very functional headband. All that to say, we now have Remedy headbands. These are 100% silk 22 Mohm, super high quality, super durable, with the Remedy logo on it.
Let me just say, first off, when we first saw his videos, like those of us who were his friends, and we saw that he's just wearing his headband, so much crap was said behind the scenes. However, I agree, it's functional. It's probably for everyone. Second part is so much better.
What
You
are
are
these?
far more likely to catch me using the Remedy headband. And first of all, yes, thank you for sending me these. I do appreciate the thought, I think. But you're far more likely to catch me using the Remedy headband than this. Or this. Super popular. Look! Anyway, thank you so much for the brands who give me gifts. I do agree, though.
Ninja skincare. Solid.
I can't see myself, but I do assume
You
see? Much more aesthetic. Functional, aesthetic, deliberate headband. Love it.
super excited about this. This is a limited time merch drop. The first time I've ever sold anything online, quite honestly. It's only going to be available for a limited time. You probably can only buy it through Instagram or TikTok shop right now, so you'll probably have to check it out on Instagram. I don't think that we'll have it available on YouTube. Maybe we will. Stay tuned for that. So Remedy headbands now available for sale. Make sure to go check them out wherever they're available. We'll link them below.
Do you have stretch marks?
Do you have stretch marks?
I do. Do you?
I do have stretch marks because 90% of people have stretch marks. And in this video, we're going to be talking about what causes stretch marks, how to potentially prevent stretch marks, and how to treat stretch marks once they've developed, if you want to.
All right. So all things stretch marks, here we go.
Here we go. So to start it off, it's really important to know that 90% of people have stretch marks, which means that if you don't have stretch marks, you are out of the norm. Both Dr. Maxfield and I have stretch marks, and it's a normal part of growing, essentially. So what causes stretch marks?
This is actually poorly understood, but it's a combination of things. You can think of it as mechanical stretching the skin, so aptly named. And this can occur during puberty. It can occur during growth, like rapid phases of growth, like exercise. It's very frequent. Weightlifters and athletes get these. And then, of course, pregnancy is your prototypical time where that mechanical stress will also cause this change. Additionally, there's some thought to cortisol levels, and you will see this as a side effect of excess use of cortisol, or medical syndromes where you have hypercortisolism that your body has produced.
So basically your skin rapidly stretches and your body's not able to keep up and you form stretch marks. And there's really two forms of stretch marks that we see. We see stria alba, which is those white stretch marks, and then stria rubra, which is more of those pink and purple stretch marks. Now, if we look at this underneath the microscope, we can really understand what's happening underneath the skin and then how to treat it. So if you look at normal skin under the microscope, this is what it looks like. And then if you look at stretch marks underneath the microscope, this is what it looks like. So what you see is thinning of that epidermal layer of the skin. You get these disorganized collagen bundles that are more scar-like, and you also lose those elastic fibers that kind of give you the ability to stretch and be resilient in the skin.
Yeah, and this may not be the most correct analogy, but somehow I think of like a mattress. Like if you think of a mattress, you have like these springs in there. They give it bounce, they give it body and fullness and resilience. And then over time, the mattress gets squished. It's been bounced on too many times, and it's just like flat, heavy, dull, and it just sits there. So you just lose that like healthy bounding skin with this scar-like structure that is your stretch mark.
Now, one of the most common questions that I get about this topic is, can you actually prevent stretch marks? We'll talk a little bit about things that you can do, but this is very common in people who have just gotten pregnant or planning to get pregnant, and they're thinking about, okay, my abdomen is going to stretch rapidly. What can I do to reduce those stretch marks? So there are a few things that you can do, but there's literally no guaranteed way. There are a lot of products on the market that are out there, but there's no guaranteed way to completely say 100% you will not develop stretch marks.
Right, and this is certainly a frustrating thing because even for the things that we'll talk about that may work, they might work for some people, but not many people. It's just one of those conditions where we just don't have a consistent gold standard treatment that works for the majority of people. Now, I'm going to say this first. I think it's reasonable to try something here. So like people will say vitamin E, olive oil, we'll talk about that. If you want to try something, just try it. Like I think it's reasonable. This is an area where like if you want to try to be proactive, I really don't discourage people aggressively from using a moisturizer because what else am I going to offer them? Just like, nah, it doesn't work, just live with it? No. So I think, yes, if you want to use a moisturizer, if you have your grandmother's like goat oil that she brewed in her basement and she said it worked, I'm not going to judge you for trying it. Go ahead. But here are some of the more evidence-based options that might be helpful.
So some of the ingredients that you want to look for are hyaluronic acid, Centella asiatica, and a silicone that helps with scars.
Those are certainly the hero ingredients here. Even here with the studies though, it's hit or miss. There are studies that show they work, there's some studies show that they're less helpful, and they've been used both in the preventative setting, some in the treatment setting. But can I just take a moment? Centella is a hero ingredient. Like everyone is sitting on this bandwagon. Green tea Centella is everywhere and for good reason. I love this product. Now, some of the ingredients that don't particularly work well are your olive oil, your vitamin E, shea butter, cocoa butter. Some of these have been tried against placebo, meaning that they like took cocoa butter and they rubbed it on a pregnant individual's belly. Then they used like just a normal lotion on another pregnant woman's belly and nothing happened. And I think it's like the most simple way to consider a study. Like, okay, if I had 100 people and I rubbed this on 100 bellies and I rubbed nothing on 100 other bellies and it doesn't make a difference, that's actually pretty convincing just from a logical standpoint. So those are ingredients that you can avoid. They may not do much for you.
Now, there is even one study on bitter almond oil,
That's a good one.
which showed that if you use bitter almond oil on the abdomen and do nothing else, there's no difference between that and putting nothing, right? But if you use bitter almond oil and massage the abdomen every night with the bitter almond oil, then you actually see improvement. So it seems as if massage is actually better than the oil itself.
I'm so glad you brought this up. I wasn't sure if he was going to, and then I thought, okay, what if he does? And he's like, almond oil is good. And I was going to say, no, it's probably the massage is good, but he went there. So let it be known, for those of you who are pregnant, a massage on the belly is probably going to be helpful. It is more convincing that a massage, a belly massage, that is more convincing than many other topical treatments that you're already doing.
So you can tell your spouse to massage your belly every night. So we'll give you a few product recommendations in this category that may prevent stretch marks, but we definitely cannot guarantee that these will actually work for you. So first, we're going to look for something that's going to be super hydrating, that's going to have hyaluronic acid in it. I really like the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Body Gel Cream, I think it's called. But ultimately, this product is dimethicone, hyaluronic acid, and it's a really thick moisturizer. It's something I've actually recommended to a lot of my friends and family who've gotten pregnant.
Okay, here's one that is going to rock your belly world. It's Ebenel. This is one that kind of I forget about. I feel like I hear about it in the real world sometimes from patients, but then it just doesn't get talked about in any other setting. So this product has the hero ingredient emu oil. No, I'm just kidding. We're kind of getting off into the weeds with that, but it does have emu oil. It also, however, does have onion extract. It has silica. It has centella. I believe it's also fragrance free. So functionally, this might be the best dedicated stretch mark cream I have found.
So that's a super high recommendation. And then another one that I'd recommend that many of you may already have because we've recommended it before in the past is La Roche-Posay's Cicaplast Balm B5. This has dimethicone in it. It also has centella in it, and it's also super hydrating. And so these ingredients together are going to give you the best bet at keeping your skin hydrated during that stretching process to try to prevent those stretch marks.
So then, of course, prevention, let's say it doesn't work out for you because it's going to not work out for some people. Here are some options for treatment. Now, there are some dedicated treatments for stria rubra, like Dr. Shaw said. You have the vascular laser, IPL, to really target the redness for these early structural scars where the changes are just beginning. And then you have the stria alba, where the structural changes are more set. These are your more mature scars. And for this, we're really going to have to target the structural changes of them.
Right. So the things that you want to look at are the things that we talked about a little bit earlier. So the epidermis is thin, you want to make the epidermis thicker. You lose collagen, your collagen becomes more scar-like, you want to treat the collagen. You also want to increase elastic fibers. Those are the things that you want to target. So when we're looking at topical treatments and we're looking at procedures, we want to make sure we're targeting one of these things. Otherwise, you're just not going to see improvement.
Right. And so this was Dr. Shaw's idea, treating this from like a stepwise approach from the level top down. And so functionally here, we're going to be left with a lot of procedural things. There is a topical option that may help. Tretinoin, of course, if we didn't sneak tretinoin somehow, it wouldn't be the doctorly video. But tretinoin has been studied with stretch marks, and the reason is because it is one of your hero ingredients for collagen growth, elastin. It helps reorganize it, and it has been shown to be helpful, not for everyone. Some studies have shown it can be helpful for stretch marks as well.
So tretinoin is going to do a few things. So like we said earlier, a lot of people think that tretinoin thins the skin. It actually thickens that epidermal layer of the skin. It's also going to thicken that collagen layer of the skin, and it's going to increase expression of your elastic fibers. So it's probably the most consistently studied topical option that you can have for stretch marks. Now, if you don't have access to tretinoin, you could always use a high strength retinol that's available over the counter. But don't start this while you're pregnant. This is going to be something that you're going to use once you've already given birth.
That is such a good distinction. It didn't even occur to me to say that. Yeah, so your retinoid is tretinoin. There's a reason it's not in the prevention stage. It is purely in the treatment, the reactive treatment phase here too. So beyond the topicals, then we kind of get into the procedural world. One of the superficial, most non-invasive options is actually dermabrasion, which is kind of weird to me that this has been studied. This is where you just gently scrape off the top of the skin. Usually it's done in the setting of exfoliation. However, there have been some studies showing that dermabrasion can actually help stretch marks as well. Most likely it's not just through the exfoliation, it's probably signaling cell growth as well deeper into the skin.
Right. So there's some good studies that show that microdermabrasion and dermabrasion, like causing trauma to that epidermal layer of the skin, sends signals into the dermis to build collagen, and will also increase like your skin barrier renewing process by bringing in a lot of the wound healing mechanisms that we have in any wound that we create. So dermabrasion is something that's been shown to be effective. Another option is causing trauma to the skin via microneedling. This helps to increase the epidermal layer of the skin, also increase that collagen production through those wound healing mechanisms, and bring in more elastic fibers.
And then additionally, we have something called radio frequency. I'm interested to see where this goes. We do have some radio frequency devices at home. We are starting to get microneedling at home, or needling in general. So radio frequency can also help by creating controlled thermal depth at a controlled temperature to help stimulate, again, collagen growth and a lot of anabolic growth options deeper in the skin. And then, of course, you can combine the two, which I always love this option, especially when you're talking about structural changes, radio frequency microneedling. This is done at the office. It combines both the direct deliberate thermal heat and the direct mechanical stimulation from the needles. It has been also shown to be effective.
Another option that's been shown to be effective is glycolic acid peels. This is at a higher concentration than we have over the counter, which maybe you could use some over the counter ones, but 20% glycolic acid peels has been effective for stretch marks. Now you have things like the ordinary peeling solution that you could potentially use on these. They are higher strength exfoliants, but you would still only want to leave those on for 15 minutes maximum and then definitely wash them off. You don't want to leave them on all day or anything like that. So high strength chemical exfoliants. And last, and the most effective in my opinion, is going to be those collagen building lasers. Now we talked a little bit earlier about if you have that redness, PDL, IPL, lasers that target redness can obliterate that redness. But when we're talking about the collagen building lasers, there's a few lasers that have been shown to be helpful with stretch marks.
Right. And classically, although there are multiple types of lasers, the ones you'll see most often are CO2 or erbium YAG. CO2 may be a little bit more aggressive, but both by causing ablation or causing penetration directly damage and then stimulate healing, stimulate collagen growth. And the results from this, they can be pretty dramatic, like they're meaningful. So sometimes I think even with tretinoin in this space, it's like, is it a subtle change? How much better is it? But really with this, I think you begin to see more black and white results that you're kind of looking for.
You can also use something called Fraxel. So you would discuss with your dermatologist or plastic surgeon, whoever is treating these stretch marks, what's going to be the best option for you. And there's no reason why you can't combine a lot of these treatments together. So you can use tretinoin for several months and then stepwise up and go to a procedure like a Fraxel, like erbium YAG, like a CO2 laser. And so that's going to get you the best results more than just doing one treatment alone. Again, when it comes to stretch marks, we give you the tools so that you can treat these things. During that stretching phase, hydration is super important. Once the stretch marks develop, building collagen and thickening that epidermal layer of the skin is going to be the key to treating them. Now, you don't have to treat your stretch marks. I have stretch marks. Dr. Maxfield has stretch marks. I haven't done anything to treat them, but we're trying to give you the tools to make sure that you can be informed when you go to see somebody for treatment. And I will say that a lot of my patients who have gotten treatments for their stretch marks have seen improvement. You just need to be consistent and probably do more than one thing.
Right. And if nothing else, like I think we've probably impressed upon you the nuance associated with this. This is not like a simple condition where you just pick up a topical cream, it makes it a lot better. The combination of treatments, including topicals plus devices plus procedures, really is where you're going to get the most meaningful results. So it's a big commitment if you're going to go all into this.
And that pretty much covers everything that you need to know about stretch marks. You can read more at Skinpedia. Like I said earlier, we're going to have corresponding articles with all the videos that we do. So there'll be an article about stretch marks. If you like to read, which some of us do like to read, you could definitely check it out if you want to read more about stretch marks and look at some of the references that we used to make this video.
Yeah. And thank you for being a part of this. We appreciate you as always.
Thank you all so much. We'll see you in the next video.
See you next time.